What is up, Drift fans? Welcome to Wall Stadium Speedway. We are in the Garden State, New Jersey for the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet. This is round 4 of the Black Magic Formula Drift Pro Championship presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. I'm Jared Deanna. Joining me once again, Ryan Sage. Ryan, we saw some great qualifying yesterday. Today is the essence of drifting head-to-head. This is round 4. When we award the trophies and spray some champagne, we are at the midway point. James Dean leading the pack. Do you think this is where we'd be now?
You know, it was really hard to predict at the beginning of the year how it would all come together, but as we take a look at qualifying yesterday, clearly this guy has momentum in his corner. He looks solid, he's consistent, very Frederick Osbo-esque with his strategy, coming out with very amazing lead runs and then letting the other driver do his job. He got that number 5 qualification, which means automatic pass to the top 16.
Yeah, we had top 4, but then unfortunately Taylor Hull from Georgia popped his engine through a piston through the side of the block, and he had to retire. So the top 5 get a bye from the 32 into the 16. Now our number 4 qualifier, Christos Blues. We've seen him on the podium. He is in striking distance. I really like the way this guy's driving. He's fast, he's furious, and he's Latvian.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly is another guy that I think we're going to be talking a lot about through the remainder of the season, because he seems to be coming into a point in his driving where he's confident. The vehicle is very reliable, and man, he is such a great driver and super fun to watch.
Yeah, he is very aggressive, and it seems like all those BMWs are of that type. And then taking a look at our number 3 qualifier, I believe that is Ryan Turk.
Yeah, Ryan Turk, another one of these guys, Jared, that I think has now put together enough coming through into the midway point of the season to say this is a championship contender. He's been consistent. The car has looked amazing, and he's got the right amount of confidence to go up against a diverse group of drivers in this series, from V8s to V6s, twin turbo cars. Anybody that he wants to battle, he can.
All right, and then our number 2 qualifier, JTP, put down 2 solid runs, but this run got him that number 2 spot. Justin Pollock, these Mustangs, man, they are one to deal with.
Well, he certainly held on to that number 1 spot for quite a while and then was taken out by, you'll find out here in just a second, but Justin Pollock looking to find his groove this year. Hasn't had the results, but the driving has been there. We've seen him do some amazing things, and maybe this will be his breakout event in 2017.
Then finally, our number 1 qualifier, winner of the Black Magic number 1 Top Qualifier Award, Chelsea Denofa. I got to think he's kind of pointing and laughing at his RTR teammate and team owner, Vaughn Gittin Jr., but he put down just a wild run that you would expect from Chelsea.
Well, it certainly was wild, and there was a lot of talk in the drivers' meeting about how he was hitting so many cones, but the judges have been very specific. They're looking at where the vehicle is on the course, and tapping those cones like that is okay. They're looking at the front tires and where the car goes into those outer zones. Denofa knew that. He put down a solid run, and he got himself his first ever pole position in Formula Drift.
Pole position, I like that. That's kind of common vernacular in motorsports. So now, talking about pole position, the leader coming to this round, he's 2 for 3. We're talking about wins here. James Dean in Long Beach. He makes his basically re-debut into Formula Drift, and he said he's just buzzing, still going into it, but James Dean.
Well, no one has had quite a start since Daigo Saito back in 2012, and if history is any kind of record for us, that was when Daigo won his championship. So James Dean, taking those 2 event wins, has put himself in a position where he's got a sizable lead on second place, and now he just needs to hold it together. He's been able to adapt to the walls that we've seen, or the bank tracks of some of these venues that we go to. This one in particular is 33 degrees, and you really need to focus on it, because setting yourself up on the bank is so important at wall.
It's critical, and I think it's a strength that he has Peter Vincek, a Formula Drift rookie coming over from Poland. They have identical cars, so if anything goes awry, they can swap cars and figure out parts. But it's truly an international affair coming to this round, because the top 3 drivers, we have an Irishman in first, a Norwegian in second, and you got another Irish sandwich. That's Dean Kearney in that Dodge Viper. He's been looking really strong. Well,
Dean had an amazing event at Road Atlanta, and not only was Dean amazing, the event in general was something to watch. We see this battle here with Christos Blues, and if you remember, Blues had a very memorable moment that we'll take a look at here, where he was trying so hard to get out there to battle, to make his way into the finals. That clock running down, he had multiple drivers working on it. You can see right there our technical director not giving, he did not make the time frame, but it was a huge moment in the sport for the fans to watch what goes on an intimate level out on the grid, and ever so exciting. But Dean, goes out there, gets second place, and finds himself in the top 3.
Yeah, that was an exciting, we just talked and elaborated on what was going down, the competition timeouts. It really comes down to the final details. But speaking of details, pre-qualifying, this is how our standings look. As we just said, we got James Dean, Dean Kearney, Frederick Osbo, Ryan Turk, and Vaughn Gittin Jr., some usual suspects. Then rounding out the 10?
Well, we've seen Michael Essa in 6th place, and we've certainly seen him come on very strong as of late. We've mentioned Kristaps Blues, who's looking to bump up into the top 5. Alex Hilbrun, who wants to have a very strong second half of the season. He started off very well at the beginning. Forsberg, this is probably the first time we've ever seen him out of the top 5. He's got that twin-turbo vehicle that he's working on. He didn't qualify very high, so he's got a lot of work cut out for him here this weekend. And then, of course, Alec Conadale, this young driver, just 1 point away in 10th.
All right, so that concludes our standings.
All right, we're here with one of our members of the judging panel and the third member of our commentary booth up here in the Judges Tower, Ryan Lantane. Now, Ryan, yesterday was qualifying. Today we're into the head-to-head format. So what can fans expect to see?
So today we're going to see these drivers go head-to-head. They're going to do 2 consecutive runs. We are going to have to vote on what we see out there on the track. So we're looking for either driver A to win, driver B to win, or we might do it one more time if we can't make up our minds.
Now let's bring up the track map so we can just real briefly talk about the acceleration, deceleration map, but also some of the key aspects of this really interesting course where you have that really extreme banking and you've got multiple inside clips and outer zones as well as a touch and go.
Right, so right here you see our accel-decel map. Anywhere that's green on the map, that's an indication that in that area the driver should be either accelerating or maintaining pace at a minimum. Anywhere that's red, we should expect that lead driver to slow down. That means they can use the brakes, they can throw in a big amount of angle and slow the car down that way, or maybe even a little e-brake pull combined with either of those 2 techniques. So the chase drivers now know in what area to be cautious of. They know that the lead driver might make a bit of a slowdown in that area. Now throughout this course here, you can see that we have 2 outside zones and we have 3 inside clips. Those markers are right on the edge of the track, and especially here because of the steep banking, those markers tend to kind of lean into the track a little bit, and sometimes they get hit by the drivers. It's not a big deal if they get hit while the driver's within the course boundaries. If the driver's off course, the tires are exceeding the track outline, that's when we're going to have to see some repercussions on that driver. But otherwise, hitting those markers with the bumpers is not that big of a deal.
So for fans, definitely keep an eye on the tires, and tires are also going to play a role in the lanes and the initiation lanes in general, watching what the lead and the chase driver does in that particular. So explain basically the lane function and what it serves to do.
So right on the run up to initiation, you're going to see some lines painted on the ground. They're in yellow, so they're very visible from everywhere on the track essentially. The lead driver must stay within the lane closest to the wall. The lead driver cannot cross down below that yellow line at any time whatsoever. Now the chase car, on the other hand, if they choose to initiate behind the lead car, they can cross that yellow line, get into the lead driver's lane, no problem at all at any point in time. If the chase driver wants to initiate side by side, they must remain below the line and remain next to the lead car until you see that kind of line coming down off the center line there. That indicates the end of the initiation lanes, and at that point it's fair game for either driver to do whatever they want.
And you guys kind of use an intention of the spirit of the rules here, where if a lead driver does touch the line or cross over, but the chase driver's far back, we're not going to just rerun it. It's non-interference, basically, and we'll keep the run going.
Exactly. If there's an outcome, if there's a reaction to an action, then yes, we'll definitely have to be pretty strict with that. But like you said, if the lead driver's crossing the line, but the chase driver's behind him in the same lane, there's really no harm, no foul in that case, and we'll just let the run go on. If the lead driver crosses below it and the chase driver's next to him and he gets in his way, makes him move out of the way, makes him have to brake or slow down, then in that case, absolutely, it'll be held responsible. The lead driver will be held responsible in that case.
So talking about responsibilities, let's go over what the lead driver's responsibilities actually are. What are they trying to accomplish when they're out there on course?
So the lead driver needs to run as close to a 100-point run as possible, and we're talking about a 100-point qualifying run, so filling all the zones, hitting all the clips, lots of angle, really sticking to the style aspect as well, so good initiation, good fluidity, good commitment all the way throughout the course. It must be a chaseable lead run, which means he's not making a lot of mistakes, being really sloppy all over the course, and causing the chase car to not be able to follow. And of course he has to follow the accel-decel map as well.
Now the chase driver also has some goals and responsibilities, so what is the chase driver supposed to do?
That chase driver needs to mimic the lead driver all the way around the course. He needs to initiate at the same place or earlier than that lead driver. He needs to maintain proximity throughout the entire course as close as possible. And he needs to do as good or better in terms of angle as the lead driver does as well.
Now, in any subjective sport, style is going to play a big role. Style in drifting plays a huge role. What is style?
So style, as I said earlier, initiation, fluidity, and commitment. You're going to hear us refer to IFC. Those are those three initials right there. So initiation, you need to initiate by the last initiation point, which is there's a little line on the wall over there, just below the guardrail. There's a cone as well, and it needs to be a snappy initiation. Get to angle and maintain that angle all the way through the corner. Fluidity is how well the car flows through the course. So transitions from one direction of travel to another, how smooth is that? And then commitment is really how well they're able to use the momentum of their vehicles to get out to outside zones and really get through the course with good throttle usage as well.
Now, finally, because we're asking these drivers to be within such close proximity, the lead driver has responsibilities, but there's also times when it becomes unchaseable, an unchaseable lead. What is that?
So an unchaseable lead would be a run that is kind of all over the place. A lot of corrections, a pace that varies widely as well. Maybe they're kind of accelerating in an area and then they're lifting, so their pace is not consistent. They're slowing down in areas that aren't considered slowdown areas on the Excel-Decel map. It could also be, tires off in certain areas of the course, just a general loss of control and a sloppy-looking run.
All right, well, you heard it here from Judge Ryan Linnane. This is the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet and the Black Magic Formula Drift Championship presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. Up next, we're going to see the top 32 here at round 4.
Yeah, how we doing? You can see a nice cool breeze here below in the Stars and Stripes as we are here at round 4 of the Formula Drift Championship. So let's introduce our 4th member of our team as we had Linnane, Ryan Sage, myself, and now down in the paddock area and the pits, Lorette Nickel caught up with Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Second to catch up with Vaughn Gittin Jr. Unfortunately, rolling into the pits with some damage on your car. What happened?
Yeah, actually, last lap of practice, I was running my lead run, and U-Haun just got a bit hot on me in outer zone 2 and smashed into me. So what a third battle in the top 32 against Kearney. And, the guys are working their butts off to get me out there. He did some pretty serious damage. So, that's why we have the best team in the biz, and they'll get me back out there. But always a horrible thing to happen just before top 32.
Yeah, for sure. And what's the team working on fixing?
I haven't even looked at it yet, but he got me in the front end, and I believe the front left is pretty damaged. Probably bent a control arm, tie rod, so probably damaged the wheel, so probably need all that and a fresh alignment. So.
All right, Vaughn, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
All right, well, thank you, Lorette, and good luck to you, Vaughn Gittin Jr. and your teammate. So the first battle was to be Chelsea Denofa because he's our #1 qualifier. He automatically advances into the top 16. We're not going to have the bye runs as mandated previously because there's going to be 5 of them. So we are going to be having 11 battles out of what we normally have 16. So these top 5 qualifiers get a fast pass in the 16. So without further ado, our first battle of round 4. This is the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet, and it's Dan Burkett versus Dai Yoshihara. Dan Burkett qualifying 16th, and Dai Yoshihara qualifying 17th. So fairly comparable qualifying positions, so that should equate to a pretty straight-up battle. Here we go. Dan Burkett qualifying higher than the former Formula Drift champion. Burkett in his Formula Drift rookie year throws it in that beautiful-looking Supra, but of course you get a nice good look for the PRZ of Dai Yoshihara. Nice job by Burkett, right high in the bank. Dai Yoshihara, good proximity, punching that Black Magic Intense tire spray clipping point out of the way. Now Burkett filling in the crease, that second outer zone into the second front clip. Now getting past that, not punching out of the way. Keeping it between the lines. Nice job for Burkett and Yoshihara. Got the second hash mark for Burkett. And there it is. So, pretty solid run there from both the guys.
Yeah, good start by Dan Burkett in the lead position. You can see clean start here. Nigeria Yoshihara trying to close the door, stay high on the bank. You can see great job by Dan up top. And as we come down into this first inside clip, you can see right there, Dan's a little bit tight on the inside. Hits that front inside clip. And what the judges are really looking for here in outer zone number 2 is where's the lead driver? They want him in that crease. Now that crease does have a little bit less grip which means that the chase driver can have the appearance of really closing the door if he's on a tighter line. So the judges are really going to watch both lead runs, especially in outer zone number 2, just to look for positioning for the line in particular. But now we're going to switch it up. Daijiro Yoshihara will go to the lead position, and Dan Burkett will go to chase him down.
What's interesting too, just thinking about Vaughn Gittin Jr., he was the winner here last year, so he's had some great success here in the past. But Vaughn won, Forsberg got second, and Hilbrun got third. And and Vaughn had back-to-back podiums, winning Atlanta last year as well. So here we are again. Dai Yoshihara will lead our hard-working corner workers. Knocking that Black Magic Intense Tire Wet Spray. All right, sending cars, here we go. The turbocharged, LS-powered, turn 14 distribution Falcon Tires BRZ out front. Dai Yoshihara with Dan Burkett in tow. Initiation point, boom, right there, they do it. As requested, Burkett struggling in that chase position. Dai riding high. At this point, you got to think Burkett needs to keep it tight, keep it together. And you see the attitude of the vehicle getting into the bank, unfortunately for him. Dai Yoshihara navigates properly. Oh, but just as I say that, Dai Yoshihara shortens it up. Let's take a look at this again. Again, on initiation, Burkett had some mistakes, and then in that second outer zone, you saw the attitude of the car rise up.
Well, you can see right here, Dan from the onset doesn't get the greatest start. He almost straightens out there on the bank. He goes pretty low there. Daijiro Yoshihara staying on the mid-high line bank, does a pretty good job there. Nice and tight on that inside clip. Remember, Dan did make contact with that clip pretty substantially there, and the judges are basically looking at the front tires. Where are they at relative to the line that's painted? You can see a gap established here, and then Jared, as you pointed out, a little bit of a misstep here by Daijiro Yoshihara. Cuts that line a little bit short, puts that right front over the front line a little bit, so he'll have a mistake there. So the judges are looking at both leads together, both chases together, and which driver did better overall.
Yeah, you know, I think if Dai, if Dai just would have kind of just swooped through that last one, I think that just would have been the deciding factor, but it makes it a little bit more difficult, but I don't think too much, because Burkett had a couple major mistakes. So I can see the judges, what do you got there, Ryan?
Just taking a secondary look at the issue that Burkett had on the bank there. You can see he's trying to play catch up at this point. And Dai is able to kind of manage that gap pretty decently there without letting Dan close the door. You can see there was a bigger separation there from the middle of outer zone number 2. A little slight mistake there. And then right here, Dai does keep angle in the car, but as you said, he just drops that front wheel a little bit off and gives a tiny bit back to Dan and for the judges to digest.
As you can see, we have a packed crowd here for the top 32 action, and let's take a look at the judges' results. Slide them left for Yoshihara, right for Burkett. Ryan says Dai Yoshihara. Brian says one more time, and Andy Yen says Dai Yoshihara, 2-1. So Daijiro Yoshihara advances on into the top 16. He will be going against Chelsea Denofa in the next head-to-head battle in the top 16 after the break. So again, we will be having 5 buy runs. You will not be seeing those vehicles if you're paying attention. Those 5 drivers: Denofa, Christos Blues, James Dean, Ryan Turk, and Justin Pollock. Those are your top 5 qualifiers in no particular order, not chronological order, I should say. Michael Essa, Ken Gushi. Michael Essa behind the wheel of his BMW once again. Achilles Radial Essa Autosports BMW. Ken Gushi, Boost Brigade, the Gretty Performance, Nexen Tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86. He qualified 25th, so he's been having a lot of struggles here today. It was a do-or-die situation for him yesterday. He unfortunately had some turn of events that I saw. He had a broken tie rod yesterday. He said he had engine issues on his #1 qualifying run, so he had to get it done in a second, and he did just that. But does he have enough? As Michael Essa yesterday looked really strong, very consistent, very smoky. Here we go, Essa out front, Gushi chasing him down, dropping into formation. Here goes Essa, Gushi, whoa, gets close. Dancing with Essa there is Gucci. Now Essa past that first front clip. They both of them getting into the crease. You can see him nosing in there, Essa. Now wrapping around the second front clip. Touch and go, and then bringing it back home. Gucci knocking it over, just barely. Again, the judges really focusing on where the tire is, not the bumper, so pay attention to that yellow line.
Well, a good clean start here. You can see already Michael Essa nice and high on the bank. Now Gucci's going to surge forward there, nearly make contact with Michael Essa. Has to back off a little bit for making that aggressive move. Now he doesn't lose too much ground to Michael Essa, but Essa's out front. Watch those rear tires right there, trying to get into that crease. And then right here as we wrap around, Gucci's getting much closer now at this point, cutting through the smoke line, trying to close the door, but Michael Essa is out front, laying down a solid, clean lead run. You can see that line that he drew from the touch and go into that last inside clip. Had a nice arc to it. Gucci trying to come a little bit tighter to close that door, gain proximity. Got a good battle on our hands here, but now Gucci has got to lay down a similar lead run or better than Michael Essa, and Michael Essa has to keep the pressure on Ken Gucci in his chase position.
All right, so Gucci now out front. Essa will give chase. And looks like the track is clear, and we're ready to send him. Gucci really needs to throw down a solid lead run here. Had some wavering, so a little bit of hesitation on that chase run. Essa quickly jumps onto the side of the 86. Exceeding that front bumper, but getting great proximity is Essa. Ken Gucci into the crease. Essa, you can see his car a little more settled. Just as I say that, it kind of comes out of that angle into the touch and go, both the drivers. And Gucci comes out of the touch and go. Man, Ryan, I'm just seeing what the forecast is here, and all signs are saying it's going to be an insane day here.
Yeah, no doubt about it here. I mean, tons of smoke generated from these guys. You can see Michael Essa just pushing the pressure on the bank as Ken Gucci tries to stay on a high line up there. He started off a little bit lower, then worked his way up. Now Gucci's going to stay as deep as he can into this outer zone, try to be right into that crease, but and maintaining grip to try to pull away from Michael Essa. But you can see Essa right there, who stays with him, makes a little bit of mistake in the chase position from inside clip number one. Then Gucci pulls a little bit of a gap there towards the latter section of the course, but does go a little bit long on that last inside clip. So we've got both runs in the books now. The judges, are, like we said, are looking at the lead against the lead and the chase against the chase, and then the driver that did better overall.
Judges analyzing the runs, taking some final notes here on what transpired. Gucci and Essa waiting to see who will advance on or who's going to be cracking a beer early here at round 4. And as we award the trophies at the podium, signature carbon fiber trophies, pop some champagne, we will officially be halfway through the 2017 season, 14th season in a row. As you can see, again, Ken Gucci, Gittin, Nexen Tires, Boost Brigade, Toyota Racing GT86. And there it is, Michael Essa gets the victory. Michael Essa gets the victory and advances on, as unfortunately Ken Gucci is knocked out. So unfortunate turn of events for him. He's just had a string of bad luck, Ryan. I mean, Ken Gucci, just a veteran of the sport, and just get some bad breaks. Well,
you can see how much of a role car preparation and just having your vehicle work the way that you want it can play a role. Ken had some issues yesterday. He had a bent tie rod that prevented him from competing in the first qualifying lap to the level that he wanted to. Then he had to just go out and get a position for his second lap. That puts you down in the qualifying section. You have a really an amazing driver like Michael Essa, puts you against him in the top 32. That's a Final Four battle any other day. So, it's a tough break for Ken Gucci, and he'll have to go back to the drawing board as we move on to the next battle.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, congratulations to Michael Essa. He advances on. He's going to be going against the winner of the next battle, and I could see that Monster Energy Nitto tire Ford Mustang RTR off in the distance, and now he's joined by his competitor, Dean Carnage Kearney. You could see And we can take a look back at Vaughn, what him and his team just worked on. So hat tip to his team. There's Juha and Vaughn getting into a pow, just into the side, into that passenger side front, Ryan.
Yeah, and the scary thing about that, I think, for Vaughn in particular, was he had to get the vehicle repaired in a very short period of time, and there's no real way to know how the vehicle is going to perform after the repairs, because there's no track time to go out and test it. Like you said, you basically have to fix everything, put it back together, do a quick alignment, and hope for the best. Now, on the other side, you have Dean Kearney, who is performing at a top level this year.
He's second in points.
He got that second place last event against James Dean. He's currently sitting second in points. So this is a huge battle for the championship. Vaughn is just right outside the top 5 right now, or within the top 5. And this is another battle in the top 32 that's going to have serious championship consequences.
Yeah, Vaughn Gittin Jr. currently 6th, just outside. So Vaughn sitting 6th in the championship. Dean Kearney currently sitting in 2nd, and he had a near mishap yesterday. He got into the wall, tapped it with his back bumper, but it didn't suck him up. So Vaughn, as you said, Ryan, no testing after that incident. He's throwing it. Caution to the wind, talking about his Mustang. Into the wall goes Vaughn Gittin Jr., taps it, gets back out of it, does not consume him. Past that first front clip, Dean Kearney getting close, tapping some doors, and Vaughn rotates. Looks like there was some contact made there as they entered into that second outer zone. And Ryan, you know, a lot of dialogue in the drivers' meeting. Maybe you can elaborate on, you know, that second outer zone. It seemed like there was a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversation between what the judges were requesting and what the judges were kind of wanting to know.
Well, one of the things in particular about that second outer zone, where the judges want you to drive with your rear wheels, is basically in the crease section of that corner. Now, that section in particular has a little bit less grip, and because of that, drivers have to modulate the throttle. There's a little bit less speed there. There's also less grip in general, so if there is contact, it could mean that the driver is more likely to spin. So let's take a look at this here as Dean is trying to close the door. He's coming up very hard here. Looks like there's going to be some contact right there, and then you see Vaughn spinning out. So it's all going to come down to the interpretation of what transpired there as we take a look at these number of replays in order to determine exactly what happened.
So there it is, tapping that back bumper is Vaughn Gittin Jr. The attitude of the car changes a little bit. And taking a look at different angles. So Dean will now lead. Vaughn Gittin Jr. will give chase. But as you saw, Vaughn in the lead position rotated. Ryan listening in and awaiting the replays here. Our team trying to pull up the replay, and here it is again. So from this angle, boom, you see the hit. Linnane, we got you here. You took a look at that replay. What's up?
All right, we're just trying to get the right view here to see if there was contact between Dean and Vaughn that would have caused that spin. We just need to be 100% sure it's part of the protocol that we have. So that's why we're watching the replays over and over again.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. All right, so now we are going to be seeing Dean out front, and both the vehicles seem to be continuing.
Well, yay, the V6.
All right, so Dean Kearney out front. Vaughn Gittin Jr. in chase. All right, so as Vaughn fires up his tires really quick, and as does Dean now. So as you can see, that bank, Ryan, we talked about 30 to 33 degrees of banking on this course. Making sure they have all the traction, it's critical. All right, so Dean will now lead. Vaughn will give chase. The second half of this battle. Ryan, nobody deemed at fault in this scenario as of right now. So here we go. Dean out front, Oracle Lighting, Achilles Radial, Dodge Viper. Team working hard. Dean, great composure by him. Vaughn Gittin Jr. right on the door of Dean now into that transition. From the bank into the flat. How are they going to navigate this? Dean into the crease. Nice job by Vaughn Gittin Jr. chasing down some separation here. Throttling out is the 10th cylinder. Dodge Viper into the touch and go. Now into that final front clipping point. Make some noise for these two titans of the sport. Again, Dean, Kearney, we're in the top 32. Dean currently second, Vaughn Gittin Jr. in sixth. Ryan, only into the fourth round, but every point matters.
Well, it's a great start right here by both guys. You can see Vaughn quickly getting onto the door right there of Dean Kearney. Tremendous job there in the chase position by Vaughn. You can see Dean right there on that second hash mark on that inside clip. Now as we enter outer zone number 2, Dean trying to get out to that crease. Vaughn trying to close the door here, staying pretty close. Like you said, Jared, there was a quick second of separation. Then Vaughn comes through the smoke line, tries to close the door again here against Dean. He takes this wide line approach into this last inside clip. And then we see the drivers cross the finish line there. So good battle, and obviously it's going to come down to that first run where we had that incident over there in the corner between in outer zone 2 between Vaughn and Dean Kearney, and no fault given there. So the judges will. That seems likely that it was that they'll probably say that it was a spin.
Right.
But sometimes they won't give fault if there was contact and they can't tell whose actual fault it was. So we'll see what the results are here, and then that'll give us a good insight, and we'll talk to Ryan as well about what he saw happen on track there.
We'll bring Ryan Linnane in here after the verdict is announced between, again, second place in points, Dean Kearney and Vaughn Gittin Jr., who had an unfortunate turn of circumstances for him in the practice. Juha Rinsen and him getting into it, get the car strapped back together, and now awaiting to see who will advance on. Vaughn Gittin Jr., Dean Kearney, and Dean and his team, hats off to him. The bridge is racing. We're going to take a look at that first run once again. This is with Vaughn out front and the point. So again, you see him hit the wall, Ryan.
Well, you're going to see there's going to be a bit of separation here. Now, Dean is going to blast forward right here. This is where we think there might have been some little bump. I thought right there might have been some little bump. And if there was, usually you'll hear it from the grid, and I didn't hear anything from the grid, but at least to me it looked like Vaughn's car had a little bit of a bump there, and that may have caused a spin, but we'll see. We'll see what the judges have to say. So here it is again, Jared. You can see Dean coming forward, and if anything, right there, it would be great to know if there were some tire marks on Vaughn's car that they could communicate up here to us to affirm whether or not that was the case. But it's all left in the judges' hands at this point. So yeah, we are hearing from the grid that there is some rubber marks on Vaughn's car, and we are hearing from our starter that he did see what he believed to be some contact. So that's an additional bit of information that the judges can use. For me, it looked like there was an attitude adjustment in Vaughn's car, and that's what I thought. Well, where the contact might have taken place.
Yeah, and I can't blame the judges. You know, Vaughn's car, the way it reacts and the way it kind of floats, that could be misinterpreted as just action of the vehicle, but it did look like it kind of came abruptly. So, without that being, with that being said, we'll go to the judges afterwards. But here's the verdict: slide him left for Dean Kearney, right for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Ryan says Vaughn Gittin Jr. Brian says one more time, and Andy Yen says Vaughn Gittin Jr. So Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets the win. We saw the spin. Ryan Linnane, going to you.
Well, we have to go off of what we have, and the replay that we have shows that it looks like there's impact. We talked to both the people on the start line, we talked to people on the grid as well that are in the back of the back of the house here basically, and they said there's contact that was clearly made between both cars. There was rubber on Vaughn's wheel where Dean would have made contact, and the start line person as well said that he saw that there was contact between both cars. In that area, it is a slow down area that we allow the drivers to slow down in. It looked like Dean was coming in aggressively. Vaughn was slowing down where he was allowed to, and Dean hit him, causing him to spin. So this is just based on all the information that we have and based on the replay where we could see what looked like an impact as well. So that's working off of all the information that we have.
All right, so Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets the victory, advancing on. So Dean Kearney out early in the top 32. A hard-working team there. The Bridges Racing, Achilles Radial, Oracle Lighting, Dodge Viper. So right now we throw it to Lorette Nickel, who caught up with Odie Bakshis yesterday. Had quite an incident where you definitely need 4 wheels to drift, but he lost one of them. Lorette?
Odie Bakshis and his team has already been working so hard as they stayed up until 3:30 this morning replacing the motor. Odie, walk us through that.
So yesterday I had a very rough day. Our lug nuts actually sheared, which started the whole thing, and my wheel fell off. It jolted the car super hard when the wheel came off, and we had all kinds of issues we were chasing ever since. One of them was a mysterious loss of oil pressure, which I think is correlated to the car being jolted really hard. Bottom line, the motor had to be pulled out. It was probably not a good idea to try to salvage it. We did have a spare. Spare wasn't 100% compatible. It was actually from my old car. So we had to overnight some parts that didn't make it this morning in time, so we had to modify parts to work. It was a long night, and it was a very stressful, long morning as well when we found out we're not getting the parts we needed. You know, the team did really, really good. I'm actually still surprised standing here. The car is running, and it's running good. And, you know, it's all up to me to go out there and just do really well.
Okay, so running on, what, maybe a couple hours of sleep, how are you mentally feeling right now?
I'm not thinking about the lack of sleep. I think we're all keeping our energy up as a team because, you know, we are excited the car's running, so I'm excited. And when the adrenaline wears off, I'm going to be very tired, for sure.
Best of luck, Odie.
Thank you.
All right, so Odie going through some difficult situations, but now looks like he's just going to go toe-to-toe. We will be seeing him going against Peter Vincek, rounding out that Wordhouse Drift team. We won't be seeing James Dean here in the 32 because he gets a bye run. Speaking of a bye run, Christoph Bruch with the HGK BMW advances on. He would be the next battle, but because he qualified 4th, he gets a bye. So our next battle here, Nate Hamilton, Little Tex, qualifying 13th. Like I say, he looked really strong, as well as did Pat Gooden. He qualified 20th. So some hard-fought drivers here, both LS, both residing in Florida currently. This should be a pretty fun one to watch. The winner will go against Blush. So this is some good toe-to-toe battle here. Hamilton out front, Ajuku Racing, BC Racing, Hankook Tires. S13.4, Hamilton throws it in. Hamilton keeping it just off the wall as Gittin tucks in. Taking out that front clip, not just a tap, but absolutely punching it with his front right wheel. Hamilton, big angle there. Huge angle from Hamilton. Very interesting exit of that second outer zone. Pat Gooden having to check up a little bit there.
Well, I think Pat still has the cone actually underneath the front wheel. Let's take a look at this again here. You can see Nate getting much better every single run on nailing that bank. And right there, that's where Pat's going to pick up the cone. Now watch his right front tire here as we come around. It's still going to be there. I'm not sure how much of an impediment that will be, but like you said, big angle right there from Nate. Nearly a contact in the chase position as Nate hits that inside clip. Now wrapping back around to this last turn here. You can see that separation as Nate Hamilton crossed the finish line with Pat Gooden in tow.
Now Pat Gooden will be out front. We're doing some track cleanup here, replacing those Black Magic Intense Tire Wet Spray clipping points. All right, so it looks like our corner workers Putting the clippy points back in. The Spray 9, Hankook Tires, Gum Out Huddy Racing, Pat Gooden, 46. He will be leading. Hamilton will be given chase. And we are ready to send cars. Again, the winner going against Blush in the top 16. What do we got, fellas? Here we go. Pat initiating very close to the wall. Hamilton mimicking the angle. Coming down in that transition. Pat Gooden taking out that front clip again. Into the crease goes Pat. Great job by Gooden, big angle. Really like the driving of Pat Gooden out front. Dialing in, zeroing in about that third hash mark from Pat Gooden. Ryan, you know, just bears repeating. Run to, or, you know, lead to lead, chase to chase.
Well, here we go on the second run, Jared. You can see right here, Pat gets a good start, nice and high on the bank, nearly running up near that rail, but Nate Gooden not too far behind and kind of maintaining a pretty similar line there. You can see hitting that inside clip a little bit as Pat, some separation here, entering outer zone number 2. Pat trying to pull away a little bit from Nate Hamilton, switching back around to this inside clip on that first hash marker on the ground, now into the touch and go. And look at Nate Hamilton staying steady there in the chase position. Pat Gooden goes a little bit long on that final inside clip through the finish line.
I don't know if you caught it, but you called them, you fused them together. It was their celebrity name. You called them Nate Gooden. It was good. It was, I liked it.
You like the fuse?
Yeah, the fusion. The fusion of the fellas.
I'm glad I got you here to catch me.
I know. I believe me. You know me. I called Lorette Chelsea, I think, last round. Yeah, I messed up names, quite a few. All right, so as you know, we're moving as fast as these cars are burning up tires. Pat Gooden, Nate Hamilton, slide them left for Gooden, slide them right for Hamilton. That's a one more time, and there it is. Yeah, they are going at it again because it's majority rules. So Andy's saying Nate Hamilton. Ryan Lontaine, you were one of the judges, said one more time, and 2-1.
Yeah, they were pretty similar in terms of their mistakes, and unfortunately there were quite a few mistakes from both of them in both the lead and chase. So for either one of them to win, they're going to have to really clean up their lead runs and their chase runs. Gooden had a really good outside zone 1. I think he did a better job in outside zone 1. He was higher and he had a better line through that area, but then he ended up hitting inside clip 1. He was off a couple of the clips and zones as well. Nate kind of made the same mistakes in his lead run. The chase runs were both, they had their moments of brilliance, I guess, but a couple of moments where they were off in terms of line and timing on transitions and things like that. So just need to clean it up and see who can really pull away the win here. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people are talking about, you know, not having 32 cars. I think this is just where it's just all killer, no filler. And I think the driving progression has really grown tremendously. It has, and this is one of those tracks that you either see really great, fantastic runs or really sloppy runs. Right. And sometimes it happens that they're just kind of off of pace, you know, in terms of their motions on the track, but it happens. Right. All right, so advancing on to our next battle, we'll revisit Hamilton and Gooden. Right now it's Hilbrun versus Moore. Hilbrun, Inca Madness Racing from Lima, Peru, against the Butcher, Cameron Moore from Battleground, Washington, Nameless Performance, Toyota GT86. Alex Hilbrun qualifying 12th, Cameron Moore qualifying 21st. Here wound up, that 2JZ 86 being debuted this year. Hilbrun seeming to really figure out that BMW this year. The field suspension putting in some work, really close to the wall is Hilbrun. Smooth, big angle. You see some little twitchiness from the front wheel, but really liked how the attitude of the car just kept a great progression. Past that first front clip, into the touch and go goes Hilbrun. And Cameron Moore, you can hear him popping. The anti-lag from Cameron Moore. Let's walk us through it again, Ryan.
Well, really like the approach here from both drivers, staying aggressive, trying to lay down the best lead and chase run that they can here in this opportunity in the top 32. You can see Alex Hilbrun nice and high on the bank. Good angle and momentum through that first inside clip. Now Cameron Moore keeping him keeping his eye on him here, trying to close that door as they wrap outside of outer zone number 2 into inside clip 1. You can see Alex hits the inside clip on that second hash mark, has a little bit of some movement in the front wheels there, and Cameron closes the door towards the end. So good battle on hand here, as now they will switch up the positions with Cameron Moore going to the lead and Alex Hilbrun to chase him down.
Cameron Moore out front. It looks like the track is clear. The wind slowing down a little bit, so the smoke lingering. Not as bad as Atlanta, and we won't be seeing nighttime, so that's kind of a blessing. As now, here we go, Cameron Moore. Oh, and already Hilbrun. Maybe a little foreshadowing there, shredding the bumper already. Oh, and Cameron Moore straightens out. That's going to be a major correction. That is hard to follow for Hilbrun. Great looking BN Sports kit on Cameron Moore's vehicle, but as good as the car looks, it did not have what it takes out front. I have to assume the judges are really going to fault Cameron Moore for that. I mean, right out of the gate, unfortunately for Cameron Moore and his GT86, big correction there on initiation.
Yeah, not only is it a mistake by Cameron Moore in the lead position, I'm almost certain that Ryan would say that it becomes almost an unchaseable lead, because it really doesn't give an opportunity for the chase driver to do what he needs to do here. So we'll talk to Ryan and see if he concurs with that, but it does look like a pretty sizable mistake on the lead position by Cameron Moore. Alex Hilbrun is able to make some adjustments here on the bottom part of the course as they come into that second inside clip. You can see right there he surges forward with that bumper just barely hanging on here as both drivers come around that last inside clip and through the finish line.
That was a great car control by Hilbrun. The fact that he was able to stay in proximity, not make contact with him, and then continue a good chase run behind him all the way through. So really good car control.
So, Cameron Moore, Alex Hilbrun, slide him left for Moore, right for Hilbrun, and I have to assume there it is. Alex Hilbrun gets the victory. Unfortunately for Cameron Moore, that mistake seemed to be all she wrote for him. Hilbrun and the Inca Madness Racing Nitto Tire BMW advances on into the top 16. Hilbrun will be seeing James Dean in the top 16. Dancing his way on in is Alex Hilbrun. So almost, or you know, we're halfway through. We're actually more than halfway through because of the bye runs. So as JTP, Justin Pollock, and Ryan Turk on the other side of the top 32 bracket. They are already in. Ryan? Thank you once again for joining us out here. This is the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet, round 4 of the Black Magic Formula Drift Pro Championship presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. We do have a halftime break where you get to, it's open access with compliments of Formula Drift with the purchase of ticket. You get to have access to all the drivers. There's no dedicated autograph session. Just go to your favorite driver's pit, visit the booths, check them all out, and basically get to experience Formula Drift, the vehicles, the drivers, all the action up close and personal, as well as, again, the halftime break. So I'm seeing some teal and blue warm up. Looks like it could be Odi Bakshis, and it is Odi Bakshis. In that Falcon tires, drifts wheels, field suspension, S14. And he will be going against Peter Vincek from Poland, a Formula Drift rookie. Bringing that Wordhouse Drift team, Falcon tires, S15, him and James Dean. All right, so pull out your phones real quick. You could win a Blackview dash camera. How, you might ask? Well, this is how. I will tell you. Text BVNJ1. Again, BV as in Blackview. NJ1 to 38714 for a chance to win a free Blackview dash camera. Retail value of nearly $400. So again, BVNJ1 to 38714. Must be 18 years old to enter, 18 years or older to enter. And you can win a free Blackview dash camera. You and your car connected. could see Odi Bakshi's just waiting in the chute, waiting to enter the gauntlet. And here he comes. Both these guys running Falcon tires. Odi Bakshi's will lead. He qualified 15th compared to Peter's 18th. Peter Vincek coming down the chute. And here he is. So very similar looking vehicles. Peter Vincek from Poland, he has the red roof compared to James Dean has the blue roof. So these guys have seen battle against each other already this year, and Odi got the victory. And Bakshis. We have a clear track. We're ready to send it. Bakshis, let's see where he initiates. They can't initiate any later than the yellow cone or the yellow mark on there. No problem. Bakshis initiates. Peter Vincek right there. Big angle from Bakshis. Peter Vincek gives himself enough room. Again, stopping that decel area, but Vincek keeps the composure. Through that second outer zone, past the second front clip. Touch and go, they go. Well executed. Ooh, and Vincek. Ryan, that peaked your volume there.
Well, what a great start to this battle here in the top 32. That was incredible, but I have a sneaky suspicion here that the judges are going to be paying close attention to the finish line. Let's take a look at this again. I mean, look how aggressive Peter is in the chase. We're already right out of the gate, pushing the pace here, but Odi nice and high on the bank, doing what he needs to do as a lead driver. Peter right here tucking, trying to tuck up on the inside, coming through that first inside clip. Now right here, Odi deep into that zone. Great job there, but Peter keeping him ever so close. Nice snapback right here by Odi to get just right inside on that first hash marker. Now watch this, Jared, as we come out of the touch and go into this inside clip here. Watch Peter in the chase position. Watch, right there.
Oh.
He basically
shut her down.
Kind of shuts down a little bit before the finish line. And now that he's stopped on the side over here, to me, that's an indication that something just is not right.
Yeah, and we knew yesterday, actually, Peter, even in the burnout box, he was warming up the tires, and if you can recall, he was doing the burnouts, and he was unable to do a second qualifying run because he broke. So, you know, like I said, it's a great attribute to have the Wordhouse Drift team of James Dean, Peter Vincek, because you can share parts, you can share resources, and again, engine parts is a critical portion. And it's all even just their body kits, Ryan.
Just looking at the internal replay here one more time, just to take a look at it, and you can just see right there, just pretty much straight drives across the finish line, and it was just a couple of feet, but the judges do want you to drift all the way through the finish line. And like I said, you know, now with the vehicle looking like it's going to need a tow, if we could bring Ryan in here just to get his perspective very briefly on what transpired there in that run.
It looks like they were trying to bring out the tow truck, but we're seeing the safety crew, the track crews, giving the signature throat chop, saying, no, he's all good. Linnane?
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head the way that he straightened over the finish line. You could tell there was a mechanical problem with the car, and he did not drift over the finish, which is something we are pretty strict on, and we tell them so in the meeting. If you're not completing the course, then you're not doing a full pull. So I'm definitely seeing that as an incomplete on Peter's part. So we'll have to see if they can get it fixed and get it back out here to try out a lead lap and see if we can put one together.
So very unfortunate turn of events for Peter Vincek. Ryan, you complimented him and said a great way to start it, but if you start it, you gotta finish it, and Vincek did not do that in Ryan Linnane's eyes. So Peter Vincek will get a tow. When we come back, we'll see where we're at. Are we gonna see the one more time between Good and Hamilton, or are we advancing on? Again, we'll have to finish out this battle, but Peter Vincek will sit on an unfortunate turn of events for him. So when we come back here at Advanced Auto Parts, Gauntlet, round 4 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship, presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. When we come back.
Well, as we await the second half of Odi Bakshi's and Peter Vincek, let's check in with Lorette Neckel, who's with Chris Forsberg, talking about his new vehicle.
Well, yay, the V6 is finally here, and Chris has been waiting all year long to debut it. And Chris, for a long, long time, you've been driving a V8. Oh, yeah. Now, how are you adapting to the V6?
The V6 is doing great, and it's running very smooth. It's very reliable now. We did not want to debut it until we knew we could have consistent results with the power, and we're getting that now. And now it's just adapting it to Formula D. You can test all day long in parking lots and racetracks by yourself, but until you get side by side with other champions, you're going to really learn what the car wants and how to react to it. So we've actually been playing with turbo sizes, we've been playing with the tune, and obviously the suspension and chassis as well. It actually will accept grip differently than the V8, so we're learning all that very quickly, and the car is getting better every lap.
Okay. Where's your confidence?
Confidence, I would say, is pretty high now. On Thursday, I was a little shaky, but Thursday night we still could have rolled out the V8, and we just decided, you know what, like we're making traction, we're starting to push forward. Let's go for it. We're going to hit Friday in the turbo car, which means that we're committed to it through the weekend. And with that being said, we continue to make forward progress. So now going into it, it's fun and it's great, and I love the way it drives. It's better than ever, and we're just going right into it, top 32.
Chris, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm seeing Nate Hamilton in the chute. This is the one more time battle. There was no decisive winner. It was 2-1, so majority rules. The three judges up here. So we have, again, Andy Yan, Brian Egger, and Ryan Lontaine are three judges, and it was 2-1 in the Pat Gooden, Nate Hamilton battle. So we are seeing them go at it again. They could go as many times until we find a distinctive winner. Nate Hamilton coming out of the chute, lighting up his Falcon tires. Sorry, hand-cooked tires. He's on hand-cooked. Both these guys on hand-cooked tires. As Hamilton will be leading once again, as he qualified 13th. Pat Gooden qualifying 20th. In Juku Racing, hand-cooked tires, BC Racing. Turbocharged LS, S13. Pat Gooden, V8 as well. And we are ready to send them. And the start light is just on the side, just off the wall. And here we go. Hamilton out front. Gooden chase. Hamilton initiates into the bank. Gooden higher, but we want to see him emulate and mimic that lead car. Pat Gooden has something against that Black Magic Intense Tire Spray front clip. As both of them around into that touch and go area. Hamilton, big angle, and here comes Gooden. Pat Gooden just really taking out those Black Magic. I know it's one of his sponsors, but taking them all out.
Well, the one more time battle here. As you can see, Nate Hamilton establishing a bit of a lead on the bank there, staying on a mid-high line. There you go, as you said, just tapping that inside cone right there on inside clip 2 is Pat Gooden. Remember, the judges are looking at the tires, not necessarily the bumper. And as we wrap around to the second inside clip there, you can see Pat does tap that way on the inside there, so he was over the line there. That'll definitely be a deduction. Nate Hamilton out front looking smooth and consistent on the latter part of the course.
Pat Gooden will now lead. Nate Hamilton will give chase, but quickly some track maintenance. Remember, our next round of competition, we go north of the border. We're in Montreal, Canada, at Saint Eustache Raceway, which has seen drifting for numerous years, and definitely looking forward to this one, as it's now part of the championship, being introduced last year as part of the overall North American Championship. These track workers definitely getting their keep. Gooden, Hamilton, waiting patiently or impatiently, regardless, they gotta wait. We saw some heavy rain here up until probably around 11:45, almost noon, and slowly drying, and now ideal conditions. Nice little breeze blowing through, clearing out the smoke. Blue skies. Seen some tank tops and flip-flops from some sweatshirts as well, so all degree of temperatures here on and off track. Pat Gooden will lead. Track is clear. Who's going to get the victory? Who's going to get Splush in the top 16? We're about to find out. Or are they going one more time? Pat Gooden throws it in. High and tight. Nice job by Gooden. Nate Hamilton mimics the angle. Some straightening there from Hamilton in the chase, coming to that second outer zone. Into the crease, both the drivers go. Hamilton lunging forward as Gooden approaches that touch and go. Hamilton tucks into the handcuff tire, smoke, and across the finish line go Gooden and Hamilton. Again, the winner advancing on the top 16 to go against Christoph Splush.
So here we go, second half of the battle here. Pat Gooden in the lead position. Nice solid line being drawn up there on the bank. Nate Hamilton staying close. Reminiscent of the second battle, or the first battle rather, that led to the one more time. Nate Hamilton, nice job right there, staying close to him. Just a bit on an inside line there. A little bit more grip in that area, but you can see Pat Gooden right there hits that second inside clip just a little bit offline. Nate Hamilton trying to close the door here as Pat Gooden misses that last and final inside clip outside that third hash mark. So now both runs are in the books. Let's find out who's going to move on into the top 16.
So we saw a one more time battle between these two. Do we have a definitive winner in the judges' eyes? Nate Hamilton is your winner. Hamilton is your winner. He's going to be going against the Latvian lover that is Christoph Splush. So Hamilton advances on. All right, so let's throw it down to the pits. We have some breaking news. Lorette Nickel regarding Peter Vincek.
A quick catch up with Peter. Peter, unfortunately, it seemed like you lost power. What happened?
Yeah, I was really happy about my run behind Audi. Everything was fine. Then I felt that car simply doesn't deliver as much power as I hear. I hear that the rev limiter was a lot harder, so the car somehow lose the grip. I tried my best to finish the run, to complete the run without a zero. I get under the tent, I have nothing. I put it on every gear and I have no power. Then we raised the car and we just, my mechanics just acknowledged me that the input shaft of the gearbox is broken. So that's it, we didn't manage to repair it in 5 minutes, so it looks like the competition is over for me.
Peter, I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you everybody who supports me.
Oh man, what a bummer. Make some noise for Peter Vincek. You saw a great chase run, but some bad luck. That just goes to show you, you just need all the components. You need a team, you need a driver, you need the car to run. And I got to say, I think Odie caught a lucky break here because Peter was pushing really hard there. He had that incomplete run, and that was due to broken parts. So Odie Bakshi's, this is his bye run. Make sure the car is running up to snuff. And as long as he completes this run, Odie Bakshi's will advance on. He'll be going against Ryan Turk in the top 16 because Ryan Turk qualified number 2 in yesterday's qualifying. Odie Bakshi's, this is his bye run because Peter Vincek had to be a DNF. Odie Bakshi's breathing a sigh of relief to get through the 32. He knew that Peter Vincek was going to be a tough battle, and also with him working and his team, hats off to his team for working hard to get his car back up and running. And there you have it, slide him right. Odie Bakshi's in the Falcon Tires Field Suspension ARC Performance S14 advances on into the top 16. Bakshi's will be going against Ryan Turk in the top 16. Next up, I could see, we were talking about that V6 twin turbo. That V6 twin turbo. NOS Energy Drink 370 Xeon Hankook Tires, Forsberg warming up. Already in the chute is that pocket rocket of a Rockstar energy drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla IM. Look at that, 10 battles between these two giants of the sport. first ever 3-time FD champion Chris Forsberg, and Frederick Osbo, 2015 champion. Behind the wheel of a different car, but still the same fierce, poetic driving from Osbo as he got the victory at round 2 in Orlando. Frederick Osbo currently 3rd in points. Forsberg 9th in points. The Rockstar Energy Drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla IM on Nexen tires. Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo, going against the Force. Chris Forsberg. And also during the halftime at the Centerline booth, visit Chelsea Denofa. Again, at the Centerline booth, that's Centerline Wheels. Visit the number 88 Chelsea Denofa, get an autograph from the driver of that Mustang RTR on Centerline Wheels. Here is Frederick Osbo, who qualified 7th, just outside one of those lucky 5 spots, and Forsberg qualifying 26th. I asked him yesterday in the driver's meeting when he announced that he qualified lower. He said, surprisingly, actually, yes. So anything can happen. Here we go. Osbo and Forsberg. Osbo will lead. Forsberg will give chase. Make some noise, New Jersey. It should be a good battle to watch. Again, Forsberg debuting his new V6 twin turbo setup. Frederick Osbo running a 4-cylinder turbo. And you can see the lights illuminating just off in the distance. Forsberg giving himself a little bit of a jump start, which is allowed. Now coming into formation is Forsberg. Osbo initiates. The pocket rocket IM right there on the wall. That's Forsberg. Not giving him an inch. Big angle from Osbo. Now coming into the crease, that second outer zone. Osbo shortens it up. Does not get all the way out to that crease. Past that second front clip. Osbo into the touch and go. Some separation between the two, and Forsberg looked like almost missing a key here, but let's take a look at it again. So as we take a look at the replay, you can see Osbo right here, not getting all the way into that crease, but there's some separation. Forsberg dropping back. Tight to that front clip is Osbo. Nice job there, into the touch and go. And you want to tighten it up, get to that front clip. So again, 2 giants of the sport, 4 championships between the 2 drivers. But as you saw the stats, 7-3, Osbo winning 7 battles compared to Forsberg's 3 out of the 10 battles they've gone against each other. This will be number 11. Who's going to come out on top? Already here into the 32. Every point counts. Yeah, we're only in the 4th round, but there's only 4 rounds left to go. And just seeing the driving prowess, the variety of the podiums just shows you got to bring your A game every step of the way. Here it is, the second half of this battle, top 32. Forsberg out front. Osbo in chase. Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink, 370Z on Hankook tires from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Forsberg initiates. He got 2nd place here last year. Can he get on the podium again? Dropping down into the transition, into that second outer zone, getting into the crease. Osbo gets into formation. Nice job by Osbo. Great chase job. Forsberg working the whole course. Into the touch and go area, big angle from Forsberg. Massages it around that final clip. And a very interesting approach there from Forsberg around that final front clip. Looks like just the car was gripping up. And you gotta think what's going through his head. This is not his V8. The car reacts differently, so let's analyze this again. You see Forsberg come down the bank, good job from both of them. For Osbo, phenomenal job in the chase on that second outer zone. Mimicking the angle, tighten up both of them to that front clip. And this is where it gets interesting for Forsberg. Just gets off that line just a little bit. You see him straightening out. So the attitude of the car changes, the angle of it. What do you guys think? Who advances on, or do you think we go one more time? I can't hear you guys. What do you guys think? Where are my Osbo fans at? Where are my Chris Forsberg fans at? And then, how many people think they should go one more time? All right, so you heard it from here. Let us know online, hashtag FDNJ. If you're watching at home, let everybody know we're live. Here from the Gauntlet, the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet, Wall Stadium Speedway for round 4 of the Black Magic Formula Drift Pro Championship presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. See if we have a verdict from the judges. All right, slide him left for Forsberg, right for Osbo, or keep it in the middle for a one more time. Ryan says Frederick Osbo. Brian says one more time, and Andy says Frederick Osbo gets the victory. Frederick Osbo gets the victory, 2-1. Now, Ryan, that happened really quickly there. You sided with?
I sided with Osbo myself.
Okay, and your reasoning there, again, 2-1.
Well, Osbo did something that we specifically said in the meeting not to do. So originally I was giving Forsberg the benefit of the doubt on his chase run. So when Forsberg was chasing, he went wide in outside zone 2, whereas Osbo was inside. He was, not as wide as he should have been in outside zone 2. This is an area that the drivers brought up a lot in the drivers' meeting. They were very concerned that if the lead driver wasn't out wide there, he was going to be able to go a lot faster. So that was definitely a detriment to Osbo's great lead run. That was one mistake that he made. Now, Forsberg, unfortunately, on his lead run, he did go wide in outside zone 2, but he had a huge straighten here coming over the inside clip 3, and that was one of the major things that I saw as an error. He did not go as high in outside zone 1 either as Osbo did, and he also left outside zone 2 early. So Forsberg had his share of mistakes that I felt were greater in the lead position, so I gave Osbo the win there. And despite that little hiccup from Forsberg being behind because he was on the wider line on outside zone 2, I felt that Osbo still had better proximity up until that point. So notwithstanding that error that Osbo made there, I think that Osbo did better in both lead and chase position.
All right, thank you for elaboration there from Ryan Lontaine. So it's 2-1. Osbo gets the victory. Next up, we are seeing Juha Rintanen and Jonathan Castro. Juha Rintanen getting into it with Vaughn Gittin Jr. in practice. Vaughn got his car back together, and Vaughn got the victory against Dean Carnage Kearney, but right now, it's Juha and Jonathan Castro. Juha Rintanen, so a big gap here already. Whoa, the big Finnish driver flicking it into that outside zone. And Castro really kind of scrambling to get that proximity and just gain some ground here. Very interesting from the jump. As Juha brings it around, Ryan, just kind of sloppy all over. You saw Castro, there was a big gap out of the gate, and then you saw going into that first outer zone.
Well, I have to at least throw out there that, there's the possibility that Castro, after that big crash, maybe just is not perfect in the way that he wants to be. And you can see it kind of does manifest itself on that initial bank there, Jared, and just struggling there to get the right jump out of the gate. Now he is able to close the door here on outer zone number 2, but Juha is staying consistent out front. You can see that nice smooth rotation into inside clip 1, and then a great job right there on the touch and go. And then look at the line that he draws here. It's a little bit tighter, but he is able to reach back around. Meanwhile, Jonathan struggled just a little bit there towards the finish line.
Yeah, I mentioned Juha Rintanen's incident, but I failed to mention Castro and Denofa. So both these guys got into a tussle with a Mustang earlier in practice. So yeah, most definitely. And Juha Rintanen, next in tires, Pure Performance Motorsport S15. Now Castro, Jodot, Metal-Dom, next in tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86. All right, so Castro. All right, so here we are. We're ready to send them. Castro and Juha. Castro out front. You can see it looks like got some battle damage there. Castro looking strong up top in that outer zone. Yuha brings it. Oh, big correction there from Yuha. So Yuha definitely affected. Oh, coming on the inside. All right, well, Yuha, as you can see, just kind of grasping for straws here. Oh, and Castro spins. Sage, again, it bears repeating. Both these guys got into it with both Mustangs, actually 2 of the 3.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting here because there's a possibility that there are double incompletes on this run. Right here, that's a big straighten and a needing of a reinitiation into outer zone 2 by Yuha. And then you can see right there a big straightening as well. Now watch Jonathan Castro. He's going to come off the outer zone early and go really deep into the touch and go area, spin out, and Yuha has to go by. So if Yuha has a incomplete here and Castro clearly has an incomplete there, we go back to the first run. And let's bring in Ryan for a little analysis.
You're absolutely right, Ryan. 2 incompletes from both Rintanen and Castro. They were unrelated because Rintanen zeroed out or incompleted on his own behind Castro, which means Castro still needs to finish his run, and he did not. So they both independently incompleted, and that leaves us with the first run to judge. And in that first run, we know that Castro was pretty sloppy, had a couple of mistakes that he made there. So, you know, Rintanen did pretty well in the lead position. He was high and outside zone 1, did a pretty good run.
So I think Ryan Lantain alluding to the potential outcome here. Slide him left for Castro, slide him right for Juha Rintanen, and it is unanimous. Juha Rintanen advances on. Unfortunate for Castro. If I got to think, if he would have just finished that run, he was 1 clip away. Just needed to get out of that touch and go, get into the clip, and he would have had the victory. But unfortunately, that's not the way the cookie crumbled. So unfortunately for Castro, he is out. But Juha Rintanen advances on. Juha Rintanen advances on. Hey, if you want to win some wheels for your vehicle, here's how. Pull out your phone, tag a photo of you watching this weekend's event, hashtag FDDrifts, D-R-I-F-Z 17, and enter to win a free set of Drifts wheels. So tag your photo, hashtag FDDRIFZ 17, and enter to win a free set of Drifts wheels. So again, hardcore wheels for the street, and also win a set of Centerline alloy wheels. Here's how. Tag hashtag FD Centerline 17, enter to win a free set of Centerline muscle car wheels as run by Chelsea DeNova. More teal and blue, the frenemies. If you haven't watched the frenemies video between this man, Matt Field, and Odie Bakshi, similar looking cars, but very different in so many ways. He's going to be going against Jeff Jones. These guys have never gone against each other. Wow, says the stats. So Matt Field, Jeff Jones. Field will lead. He qualified 14th. Jeff Jones qualifying 19th. Both supercharged V8s under the hood, different varieties. Both S chassis. It should be interesting. It should be a fun one to watch. Matt Field. He won the final 2 rounds of last year. When he is on it, he is on it. But Jeff Jones as well, he's relentless. You never know what's going to come from Jeff Jones. So Matt Field in the teal and blue. He's in the Falcon Tires vehicle with a neon trim. The Doc X hand-cooked tires, S14 of Jeff Jones chasing him down. Matt Field throws it in. Look at the attitude of the car. Woo! Shredding some carbon fiber as Field drops that back bumper, slams down, loses a side skirt. He's not going to have any body parts by the end of this run. It's a demolition derby, but he's only battling himself in this gauntlet course. As Matt Field finishes it out, Jeff Jones brings it on home. Wow. Matt Field's going to have an engine and wheels by the end of this thing.
Oh, well, fun battle to watch here, Jared, in the top 32 as we see Matt Field take on Jeff Jones. We catch it from the bank here as both drivers come down into that first inside clip. And then right here, Jeff Jones surges forward on the attack after Matt Field narrowly escapes up on the bank, but holding it together, blasting through the course in that second inside clip here. And now trying to get out to that touch and go. Doesn't quite get out to where he needs to. Jeff Jones keeping him in distance here. So fun battle here to watch so far, as now they'll switch it up, but it looks like both drivers have gone off course, potentially calling competition timeouts.
Yeah, both these guys just slamming down. I mean, you saw Matt Field, you know, on that first outer zone, the wall, the serrated edge that is that first outer zone, that will bite you. But Matt Field shredding his back bumper, showing he has the car control, but when he rocketed down into the flat portion. All right, so if you haven't already picked up an Odi Bakshi's autograph, you could do that at the halftime. Odi Bakshi signing autographs during the halftime booth at the Drifts Wheels booth. Odi Bakshi's, you just saw him advance on top 16. Come meet and greet him. Odi Bakshi's. Oh man, what a bummer there. So we are seeing Jeff Jones right now. So stoked for Jeff Jones, but unfortunately for Matt Field, he debeaded a tire and he is unable to repair his tire. You need the tires to run 2 runs without debeading, coming off the rim. So unfortunately for Matt Field, that means he will be a DNF. So handing the victory to Jeff Jones. This will be a bye run for Jeff Jones. And unfortunately for Matt Field, tires debeaded. We can't allow the drivers to reseat their tires. So that means Jeff Jones will have his bye run here and advance on to the top 16. Yeah, it's a bummer, but it is the rules. We need your tires to be on the rims through 2 entire runs. So we have 2 more battles left after this bye run of Jeff Jones. And here comes Jeff Jones, the Doc and Cook Tires S14. Jeff Jones getting a bit of a practice run here. All right, so.
No, I'm not on Iris.
All right, so as you know, Matt Field had to retire, so Jeff Jones will be getting the victory. Jeff Jones advances on. 2 more battles left. 2 more battles left. Matt Kaufman and Kyle Mohan. All right, if you haven't picked up your Formula Drift Takata wallet, pick it up. Find yours at Takata Racing Now. The signature green harnesses teamed up with Formula Drift to create Formula Drift Takata wallets. Pick yours up at takataracing.com. All right, so Lorette Nickel caught up with our next competitor, Kyle Mohan.
We're going to see Kyle Mohan top 32, but your engine is a little bit hurt. So what's happening?
Yeah, you know, we're running a lot of boost with the American ethanol, high octane. You know, we were pushing excess of 35 pounds boost. Everything was running great, and we just had a little hiccup with one of our fuel injectors, and we slightly hurt the motor. Luckily enough, the crew worked late last night. I think we're ready to go, maybe just slightly rough on the idle, but I think once we get out there, boost kicks in, nitrous kicks in, we're going to be smoking tires and giving Kaufman a run. So we're out here in New Jersey. We're going to throw down. I'm looking forward to it.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorette. Thank you, Kyle Mohan. Matt Kaufman in the chute, waiting patiently. Machine was built for war. The Ford V8 power under the hood of the S13. These guys have never seen battle against each other. You can see these winning percentages. Look at that 980 out of the Ford power plant under the hood of the S13. Mohan, 1,000 horsepower, talking about his ethanol built to Apex Top 1 oil. Gotta love the sound of the rotary. Where are my rotary fans at? There's quite a few of them here on the East Coast. So Matt Kaufman, he will be leading. He qualified 6th. A great showing yesterday from Kaufman. Really liked what he did. Big smoky angle. Now he's gonna need to be quick, tick all the boxes. He's got that but as Mohan said, maybe not 100%, but just knowing Kyle Mohan, the menace, he's gonna throw down. All right, so So Kaufman out front. And Mohan. 2 more battles left, including this one. You can see the lights illuminated. You can hear the rotary wind up. The V8 naturally aspirated of Kaufman out front. The fighter pilot, the separation. Oh, and Kaufman. And it's a restart. That is a restart. We are seeing red flags. All right, so Matt Kaufman jumped the line. All right, so again. All right, there's the Formula Drift app. Download the app now for all your updates. But right now we got a restart. So Kaufman back up to the start line. Mohan there as well. All right, so Kaufman, so what happened there was Kaufman dropped below and did not stay in his lane. We have defined lanes. We'll get to that if it becomes an issue once again, but that was a restart. Kaufman now coming into that first outer zone. Matt Kaufman initiates, works his way up the bank into that first outer zone. Kyle Mohan coming down the bank, nice job. Now we're to the flat portion of the track, that second outer zone. Kaufman, look at that, steam engine. Coming through that second outer zone. Mohan in the drop top, beautiful day for a convertible. Not getting out to the touch and go, slowly working his way around that final front clip. Goes Kaufman and Mohan.
So getting close here to wrapping up top 32. Kaufman taking the lead against Kyle Mohan here. Kaufman initiates nice and high on the bank. You can see a little bit of a gap established there, as well as Mohan on a slightly lower line. Nice job by Kaufman, super tight on that inside clip. Mohan trying to close the door here as Kaufman tries to go deep into that second outer zone. And now coming into this second inside clip. Great job there. You can see nice arc and smooth transition from that second inside clip to the touch and go. Great lead run right there by Matt Kaufman as Kyle Mohan wraps up that final corner.
Mohan will now be out front. Matt Kaufman will be chasing him down. Remember, we have the halftime break after this. You get to meet and greet some of your favorite drivers, walk through the pits, visit some of the sponsors and displays, check out the cars up close and personal. Here we go, who's advancing on top 16? Kyle Mohan, Matt Kaufman. Mohan pulling away. Exit tires, get lit up. See a little flame shooting out the back there of the MX-5 of Kyle Mohan. Now coming down past that first Black Magic Intense tire wet. Oh, and Mohan, you see him working the wheel, bringing it on back. Staying all the way out to that second outer zone is Mohan. Mohan trying to work it in to that touch and go area, but Kaufman keeps his composure. Ryan, let's take a look at this again here between Mohan and Kaufman.
Well, here you go, Mohan in the lead position this time, but Kaufman staying tight on the bank here, as now they come down off the bank. Kaufman and Mohan charging through that second outer zone. Great job by Mohan here to try to go deep in that zone, losing a little bit of angle for a second there. And now coming into that second inside clip. Just a little love tap there, but a bit short on that touch and go is Mohan. But you can see Kaufman keeping him in close proximity all the way through.
And slide him left for Mohan, right for Kaufman. One more battle left to go, and there it is. Matt Kaufman, the Nexen Tires Ford Power Plant Thunderbolt Fuel S13 advances on from Medford, Oregon. Put him in a Kaufman as Kyle the Menace Mohan and that rotary burns up his Nexen Tires, and that will be a wrap for, unfortunately, for Kyle Mohan. Our final battle is here. Alec Honordell and Robin Ishida. All right, well, our very own Laurent Nickel caught up with the 2015 FD champion, the Norwegian Hammer, Fredrik Aasbo.
Fredrik Aasbo is moving on, but there was a minor mistake that was made outside zone 2, which you're not going to do next time. So how do you make sure that you rectify that mistake?
It's trying to reset. You know, you sit there and you wait for hours, and then boom, you have your chance to shine. And I made it wasn't a small mistake, it was a big mistake against Chris. I came up really shallow into turn 2. And it looks like I'm trying to race, but what happened is I did my transition a little too early, trying to have a snap, slowed down way quicker than I was anticipating, and he had a little bump on me right there, but he chased close through that turn, and luckily for us, we didn't have other major mistakes throughout the 2 runs, whereas Chris had a half spin at the end. So I think overall it wasn't the prettiest battle the 2 of us have had, but we move on and we'll take it, and you know, just going to try and clean it up for the next one.
Fredrik, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we are finding out that Alec Honordell, who is to do battle against Robin Ishida, has just called a competition timeout. So Alec Honordell, who's already in the shoot, is saying, let's call a competition timeout, but now's a good time to download the Formula Drift app. If you haven't already, download the app. It has live scoring alerts and stats, exclusive FD content, breaking news alerts, get notifications, access to the free live stream, ability to buy tickets, the new FD Fan Rewards program, exclusive gaming contest, special video features. Download the app now. All right, when we come back, we'll see our final battle of the top 32, Honordell and Nishida. Welcome back as Alec Honordell calls his competition timeout in the final battle against Bushido Blade Robin Nishida. Laurent Nickel caught up earlier today with the driver we're going to be seeing in the top 16 for the second time ever. That's little text, Nate Hamilton, car number 144.
Well, Nate Hamilton just jumping out of his car takes the one more time battle with Pat Gittin. And Nate, the judges had said that you just had to correct some small mistakes, and you were able to do that. How?
Yeah, definitely just being focused. You know what I mean? I want to come out here and do great. And I know Pat's a great guy, so driving with him is always fun. And yeah, I just had to clean up some mistakes on my end, and we were good to go.
Okay. And where is your confidence at right now?
I'm starting to build it. I think we definitely have a lot of room to grow. I think I'm finding myself at home here in Pro 1, so I feel pretty confident. I'm trying to get into the top 8. That's my new goal.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
One, that's what's up. Right on. All right, so when we come back, as again, getting some updates here from Laurent Nickel on via text. She says Alec thinks something is wrong with the steering, so we'll see. But minute 30 left, but he's pulling out, so he's ready to do battle when we come back. Alec Honordell, Robin Ishida warming up the tires. We'll see them here at the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet, round 4, the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Welcome back. Seeing Robbie Bushido Blade Nishida dropping in. Alec Honordell, the Urban Air Hoonigan, Nexen Tire S14. From Flowrider, the Diddy, all white suit. He says he's having a problem with the steering. We'll see if he can get it together Man, that kid just has some bad luck. I saw him up here spotting in the tower, and looked like he was just chilling. So right now it's Robbie Nishida. He's going to be chasing him down. Alec Honadale in the lead position. Again, Urban Air, fix your fuel. The Haun again, Robbie Nishida, a veteran. If you can remember, Ryan, if you can remember years ago, the open face helmet, the Sil Camino. He has, like, do you remember that? Yeah? Shaking your head? Yeah? All right, cool. All right, so Ryan just dealing with a bevy of things going on up here. So Alec Honadale will lead. It looks like we have a clear course. Our final battle, top 32. Remember, we have a short break. We're back here at 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock local time for our national anthem, opening ceremonies, and top 16 driver introduction. So Alec Honadale will lead. And away they go. Send it. Honadale crawling. And something might be afoot. Yeah. That's going to be an unchaseable. Whoa, hey now. Yeah, something is definitely not right. Robbie Nishida at this point, he doesn't even really need to navigate the rest of the course. But I think that's going to be all they wrote for Alec Honadale. Bringing around that second front clip.
Well, either way, Alec is going to have to go directly to the line or bow out of competition because, as you kind of were implying there, he used his competition timeout to get to where he is now, and the vehicle clearly struggled to get off the line. So
you don't want to risk your car. I mean, he's down the deficit. He's used his comp timeout. If he goes in the chase run, throws it in, and wads his car, I mean,
we don't want to go there.
We don't want to go there.
I mean, the car is going to be safe, but mechanically sound is another question.
Right. Looks like he might just be bowing out. Yeah. Seeing a hand wave here. All right, so Alec Honadale, unfortunately, will not be advancing on, but that means Robbie Bushido Blade Nishida advances on this brand new car, debuted at our previous round of competition, and here it is. He will be introduced to the top 16, that Jerry Yang Racing Achilles Radial GTR. Robbie Nishida advances on. Our top 16 field is filled, but he will have this quick buy run to just solidify that his car is able, up, running, ready to clutch kick and take some names at the top 16. He's going against Kaufman at the top 16, but again, first, he needs to complete this buy run. So without further ado, our final run of the top 32, Robbie Nishida. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the top 32. But now is your time to cruise the paddock. It's local time, 3:30, 5 o'clock. We'll be back here live at the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet Round 4, the Black Magic Formula Drift Pro Championship, presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. Thank you to Ryan Lantain, Brian Egger, and Andy Yen, our 3 judges. Ryan Sage, Lorette Nickel down in the pits. I'm Jared Dienda. We'll see you back here 5 p.m. for top 16 driver introductions when we come back again. So at 5 o'clock, send it.